Male or female? Maybe if I squat in both. Maybe if I sit in it like a cat. Or maybe I just bridge in both of these boxes? It works, but it doesn't work. Like, it works, but it really doesn't work. Like, it's maybe comfy to sit in it like a cat and wear the other one as a hat. But that's not really a permanent solution for going about your day to day, you know? Like, it's not practical. None of these are practical. But to be fair, being stuck in one box also doesn't seem that practical. I'm not sure about this. I'm really not sure about these boxes, you know? Hello BabyQueers and welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing some envy memes because why the hell not? I feel like it's been forever. So in honor of Pride Month, we have to. You know, we really just have to. But you know the deal, before we continue, y'all gotta get hydrated. So grab some water, or some tea, or whatever else you like to drink, and then we continue. In the meantime, also feel free to like and subscribe. Do you have your drink? Okay, let's go. Hey, are you a boy or a girl? Later. No, wait, does this mean I'm finally passing? I think if there is such a thing as passing for non-binary people, it is probably this. Yeah, because some people will be confused. But like with any passing, like it's while you will be read very differently by different people in the span of like 10 minutes. You know, but I think you probably are at least sort of passing, which is cool. If you want to do that, like, you know, you're under no obligation to pass. You don't have to pass if you're binary trans, you don't have to pass if you're enby. But you can if you want to, and you can very obviously get very excited about passing. Me, when I call someone my man in a friendly way, but remember that society still perceives me as a girl. Yeah, they're probably gonna... I don't know if they're gonna take it that weirdly, because I know some girls who also like do this with like friends they've been like close with for a while, and they're just like, my man, or dude, or bro, and they just like use it casually, even though it's technically how guys refer to each other. You know, so I hope no one looked at you too weirdly. People might be thinking you're just like doing it as a joke though. That might happen. Transphobe, using it to address me. Me, using it as a pronoun, like, am I supposed to be offended? Am I supposed to be upset? Like, honestly, people using any and all pronouns, just crazy. But personally, like, even if I don't use, for example, it as a pronoun, I couldn't be offended. Because when someone tries to say something just to hurt me, it's just so apparent to me that that's what they're doing, that it just seems ridiculous to me, and then I can't be upset about it. So even though I don't use it, I would still be there like, am I supposed to have a reaction? Am I supposed to be impressed? Am I supposed to think you're funny? What am I supposed to be doing? But honestly, just using any and all pronouns still seems like a power move, actually. Then I found incredibly cute pins. Yes, they have an enby pin, obviously, if it's posted on this subreddit. But dragons and swords combined. A very lethal combination, because it's just two things that are incredibly cool, especially to a lot of queer people, and flag colors, and it's just cute and cool and cute and very cool, and I kind of want all of these. I just want all of these. I don't know where I would put them, but I kind of want all of these. Dad, I have a question. Did you want a boy or a girl? Honestly, son, I just wanted to have sex. You're an accident. You know, I love you, but you literally were an accident. I was just trying to hook up, you know? It's a very honest answer, at least. You know, like some people might actually have a preference. But at the end of the day, if you stop being weird about gender, it doesn't matter too much. You know? So, yeah, but this dad had a very, very honest answer, at least. People often ask me, are you a boy or a girl? And I always tell them the same thing. How dare you speak to me? Where did you get the audacity to engage in a conversation with me? How dare you? Literally, how dare you? Which is a very appropriate answer. Honestly, just like saying, wouldn't you like to know? Or just laughing like a maniac and walking away. Or just like leaning in and whispering something completely unhinged in their ears. Also options, but this is definitely also an option of how to react to this question. Just be like, no, is probably my go-to. Just like, no, not that I'm aware of, actually, no. Kay said that he wanted to stop being a boy, but doesn't want to be a girl either. That's how it is, and so that's why we want to go back. We want to go back to when we were neither boys nor girls, before those kinds of things were instilled into our minds. Welcome back, Alice is a genderqueer head spinner of a manga. I never got into manga before. I'm not sure I want to get into manga. But you're still making me want to read at least this one, which isn't that difficult. You know, because if queer people are involved, I usually will want to check it out anyways, so it's not that difficult, but if I ever get into manga, it might start with this one. But this whole concept is just fair because little kids don't care. They only care because they're being taught that from basically the day they're born, right? You know, as soon as they start talking, or like as soon as we talk to them and they start to understand us, we say weird things to them. And then they're suddenly already like, no, I can't play with the girls anymore because I understood that I'm boy and that girl and that's not compatible for some reason or whatever. Like, I kind of get just wanting to go back to before you're really like aware of gender. I really get that. For me, that was probably way later than for a lot of people because gender's weird. Like, I keep thinking that it's not important, but then people keep bringing it up in really weird ways and make it apparent that it's something they think about a lot, and that's still somehow strange to me, even though I'm aware that they do this, but I'm still caught off guard by it a lot of the time. I hope that in my next swimming dream, I'm wearing the two-piece swimsuit that I wanted to try out. Me next swimming dream. Get that naked creature out of the pool. Well, that didn't work. And I can see that your dreams are about as weird as mine are. But to be fair, I hardly ever remember my dreams, which might be for my own sanity, because what even is going on in there, you know? But still, maybe in your next swimming dream, because in this one it didn't work, but at least you didn't wear a swimsuit you didn't like, I guess. People. I don't understand men. I don't understand women. Me, I don't understand myself. I think, first of all, you're not the only one. And second of all, if it would have just said, I don't understand people, I would have agreed, because what the hell even? You know, like, sometimes I do. But But a lot of times I'm confused by people, you know, so I kind of get it. But to be fair, a lot of these, oh, I don't understand men, I don't understand women scenarios could probably be solved if you think of men or women as just another person and try open, honest communication and believing the other person when they tell you something. That would probably help a lot of those scenarios on top. Not understanding yourself, a little bit more difficult to solve, I guess. I'm not trans mask or trans femme. I'm trans cargo. And this is why enby people are very clearly trans, because seeing trucks like this and chuckling to yourself every time you see a truck with trans in their name or like in their company name, and like chuckling to yourself, that's like a very trans thing to do. And it's just kind of funny when enby people do it too, you know? One stable gender was never an option. You know, like it is for some people. But if it isn't for you, then that's cool too. You know, like get unstable gender. Get unhinged gender. Get no gender. You know, like you kind of gotta take the option that is most you, I guess. I was convinced to attend the old prom because the dress code was don't wear a onesie please, so it sounded really casual. Why was everyone in full suits / ball gowns? Me walking in, everyone minding their own business, like. But why have a dress code like this if no one's gonna like do anything fun? Like, where's the fun? Like, I kind of get wanting to wear like a ball gown or like a nice suit, right? You probably feel really gorgeous in it, you feel amazing, you have like a lot of confidence. I kind of get it. But if the motto is something fun like, oh, just don't wear a onesie, why wouldn't you want to do something a little bit more creative? You know? So, yeah. I guess. But chances are, especially if you're somewhere where you're like one of very few probably openly queer or like visibly queer people anyways, they're probably gonna look at you anyways, and they're probably like gonna know about you anyways, because apparently other people's lives are way more interesting to talk about, you know. But I don't know, I kind of hope you still had like fun with your friends at least. Gender is very clearly a spectrum: void, bliss, torment, and in the middle there's cheese. Okay, the arrow aces have cake and garlic bread, and genderqueer people have cheese. That's news to me, but I can't come for it. All genderqueer people get to have cheese now. I don't really eat cheese that often, but if you want to eat cheese, you can. Can we ban the transphobes from eating cheese though? Can we just like make them suffer and say no eating cake, no eating garlic bread, and no eating cheese anymore? Once you become chill with other people's gender or sexuality, then you can have these things again, but not before that. More queer art. With the title of Gender Euphoria, I think it was. Because why not? Why not? We love queer art. Laura in Graham Guest says trans people will destroy gender norms to create a new species, human and part machine. I swear to God. I keep thinking they can't come up with like weirder or funnier things to say. But they do. And I don't understand how people can take this serious and not think this is completely unhinged. Like, we're trying to destroy gender norms. Actually, yes, sure, because they're not helping anyone, right? Like, no one's saying you can't like the things that are like normal for your gender to like, right? Like, if you're a woman and you love shopping and the color pink and wearing dresses, you can, but you shouldn't be made to feel like you have to do these things. Same like for men, obviously. If you want to do those things and if that actually feels natural to you, cool. But so much of gender norms is literally just indoctrinated into people that they just don't think about it anymore, and they don't really think about if it's that uncomfortable or if it's actually what they want to do. So, you know, that's what we're coming for. But where did the machine part come from? The trans experience of after running as far away from your forcibly assigned gender as possible, turning around and cautiously approaching it from the other side. This is just one of those things, okay? When you come out and you're trying, like, especially if you don't pass well and you want people to refer to you as something different as what you're assigned, and you try to be really, like in my case, I was trying to be like really masculine. I was trying to be read as a guy because I was so sick of being like called a girl and be called like she, her, and I was so sick of it because all my life it was just uncomfortable, and I knew it was me, and I didn't have the language for it, and I didn't know what to do against it really. So I was very sick of it, so I tried to go as mask as possible for people to read me as male. And then at some point I just stopped caring. Now when people call me like girl or whatever, it literally just doesn't bother me anymore. Like it bothers me now a lot less than it ever did before, even when I was technically still a girl. So, you know, that's just normal. That's just how we do things here, okay? When I present fairly masculine, I'm not a girl. When I present in a very feminine way, I'm still not a girl. Also very fair, because gender presentation and gender identity, not the same thing. Again, if it matches up and you identify as a woman and you love wearing dresses and makeup and getting your nails done, cool. If you're a man and you love dressing super traditionally masculine, cool. But can we please just be chill with people where it doesn't match? You know, like, honestly, who cares? Like, gender presentation does not dictate your gender, and your gender doesn't need to dictate your gender presentation. But people get really pressed about it if you say things like that. I'm definitely a cis guy. I mean, I want to look like him. The guy I want to look like. Ah, yes. Very normal gender presentation goals. I mean, again, yeah, literally how you present does not dictate your gender. But most cis guys, at least, would not be so honest about wanting to look like him, or like actually presenting like him. You know, a lot of cis guys wouldn't. But I kind of get the feeling this is very, oh yeah, no, I'm still cis though, even though you're clearly not. But you know, you can present like this no matter what your gender is. Only merfolk and hourglass-shaped people. These bathroom signs are getting out of hand. Like, bathroom signs are always weird. If it's like the normal ones with like the stick figure and the one with the dress, but whenever people try to do something else, it just gets so much worse. And this one's just just weird. Like, I know someone just like scribbled around on a really banged up old toilet sign, but this is kind of what it feels like when people do weird things with their toilet signs. And more art, because again, why the hell not? And this is really cute. And also, yeah, enby writes. You know, there's the saying of, oh, I support women's rights and wrongs. And that's true, and we do, but we also support enby's rights and wrongs. You know? Anyways, that was all the memes and art I have for today. I hope you enjoyed this installation. I hope if you are here and you're questioning your gender, you find an answer that seems fitting for you soon. You know? And if you just decide to give up on it altogether, that's also fair. You know? Like, other people might be weird about it, but as long as you're comfortable with your gender, that's kind of all that matters. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll be back in a few days with my next video.